Hello art beaters, Becky here for artbeats.com, and I've got a brand new video for you today. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make our psychedelic snakeskin bracelet. This is a fun woven bracelet made with 2-hole Rulla beads. So let's dive into the tutorial. For our psychedelic snakeskin project, you will need Rulla beads in 2 colors, 11-aught round seed beads. I have Toho 11-aughts here. A button of your choice. I've got this beautiful check gloss button. Beading thread. I'm working with Hana beading thread in a color that matches my project nicely. And a beading needle. I've got a size 12 beading needle. We do have an excellent PDF diagram for this project that is on our design tutorial page for this bracelet. So I will be referring to that today. To start, you're going to add your needle to about a 3 feet length of thread. And you're going to start by adding 1 Rulla bead in the first color. I'm going to use my more iridescent color for my first color. Leave a tail so you can weave that back in later. Mine's about 6 inches. Then you're going to add 2 seed beads to the thread. I'm going to add a Rulla bead in the second color, that metallic purple color that I have. And you just repeat this following the color pattern of the chevron. So I'm going to add 2 more seed beads. And then my next color is the iridescent color. Now, for your iridescent colors, if you're using a Rulla bead that has an iridescent color where the finish is on one side versus the other, you might want to make sure that you're adding the bead in the same way each time, if that matters to you. You can do it at random, or just make sure that both are facing the same way. If it's something that matters to you, definitely keep conscious of that. So I've got 2 seed beads after that Rulla bead. I'm going to add another iridescent Rulla bead, and I am going to pay attention to the finish when I'm adding these. Two more seed beads. A metallic purple bead. Two more seed beads. And we're going to finish with that iridescent bead. To start the next row, you're going to grab 2 seed beads, and then you're coming out of the bottom stringing hole of this last Rulla bead. You're going to jump up to the first stringing hole. That's also going to add a cute little seed bead trim on the edge of your bracelet, so it does double duty. And you might want to use a stopper bead. As you can see, I kind of pulled my thread too vigorously and it shortened up my tail, so I'm going to make sure that tail is nice and long again. For this row, we're just adding Rulla beads, so I'm going to add an iridescent Rulla bead here between Rullas, and then you're going to go through that top hole of the next Rulla bead over. There we go, starting to take shape. Gonna get my thread untangled here. Then I'm going to add a metallic rulla now that I'm coming out of that metallic rulla. Go through the next rulla bead over. Adding an iridescent rulla bead. Going through the next rulla bead over. Adding a metallic rulla bead. Going through the top stringing hole of the next rulla bead over. And pulling tight to get those beads whipped into shape. And then ending the row with a iridescent rulla bead. There we go, taking shape. To start the next row, I'm actually going to add 2 seed beads and a metallic rulla bead to my thread beforehand, and then come through that top stringing hole of the previous row's rulla bead. So you can see that adds a little seed bead trim to this side and starts the row nicely. From there, you're going to add rulla beads in the same fashion that you've been doing. So add an iridescent rulla. Go through the top stringing hole of the next rulla in the previous row. Add a metallic rulla. Go through the top stringing hole of the next rulla bead in the previous row. Add a metallic rulla, go through the next stringing hole of the next rulla bead in the previous row. Add an iridescent rulla. Go through the next stringing hole of the next rulla in the previous row. To end the row, we're going to add a metallic rulla to our thread and 2 seed beads, much in the same fashion as we started this row. And then we're going to jump up to the second stringing hole of that same rulla to get ready for the next row. All right, we're in place for the next row, so we're going to keep going. We're going to add a metallic rulla, go through the top stringing hole of the next rulla bead over, add an iridescent rulla, go through the top stringing hole of the next rulla bead over, add a metallic rulla, go through the next stringing hole of the next rulla bead, add an iridescent rulla and go through that next rulla, add a metallic rulla and go through the next rulla. And then you're just repeating those steps to continue the weave to the length desired. When your bracelet is the length that you need, you're going to want to make sure you end on a row that has the Rulla beads on the outer side. So we couldn't have ended on the previous row because it has the beads to the inside of the weave. So make sure you're ending on a row that has the outer Rulla beads. So for this row, we're going to mimic the start of our bracelet, pick up 2 beads and add it between these 2 Rulla beads, and we're going to do that all the way across. So picking up 2 seed beads, going between Rulla beads in this row. Picking up 2 seed beads, going between Rulla beads in this row. Picking up 2 seed beads, going between Rulla beads. All right. From here, we're going to add 3 seed beads to the thread. We're coming out of that top hole of that last Rulla bead, and we're going to loop back through the Rulla bead. And then just loop back through the 3 seed beads. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to come through these last 2 seed beads in the row and the Rulla bead. And we'll do that again. We're going to pick up 3 seed beads and then loop through the Rulla bead. And this time we can just come straight through those 2 seed beads. Gonna go through the next Rulla bead over, pick up 3 seed beads, loop around the Rulla and go through those next 2 seed beads all the way across. So we are going through that next Rulla, 3 seed beads, looping through the Rulla and going through the next 2 seed beads. Adding 3 seed beads. Oh wait, first we gotta go through the Rulla. Make sure you're coming out of that Rulla, then add your 3 seed beads. And then loop through the Rulla and through those next 2 seed beads over. Go through the next Rulla. Add 3 seed beads. Loop through the Rulla and just come out of that last Rulla. Don't go through any more seed beads. Okay, now we're going to add our seed bead loop for our button. Now I know that my button, the button used in our original project, is 27 millimeters. So I know to add 25 seed beads to make my loop. You may have to adjust that size if you're using a smaller button or a bigger button. You might want to stitch your button onto the other end of the bracelet first before making your loop so you can check the fit. Okay, so I have my 25 seed beads added. I'm just going to come back over here and go through this Rulla on the other side. And then I've got my seed bead loop, and you can come back through all of these beads, the top hole of the Rullas on the 2 seed beads between, and then back through the loop to reinforce. To add your button, you're going to go back to the other end of your bracelet. You can use the tail or add in a new thread. I'm just going to loop this thread back around. I'm going through the second stringing hole of the top row and the first stringing hole of the second row. And I'm just weaving my thread. Then I'm going to weave through this top row until I get to the center. Which is here. And I'm going to add my button with the shank. And I'm going to come through these 2 center seed beads, loop around, and loop around the button shank a couple times to get it in place and get it nice and secure. Button in place, I'm going to loop through those seed beads and that button shank several times so it's good and secure. Once you have your button in place, you can weave your thread into the body of the piece, loop it around several times to secure it, maybe knot it here and there, and then trim. And then you've got a beautiful button that matches your bracelet. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to help and answer them. Leave a like and a comment, and make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell notification so you're the first to know when videos like this are out. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.